Hey guys, this is Tauna. Today we're going to be talking about the Temur Roar Precon. So this is the new Precon coming up with Dragonstorm, and it is very dragon focused. It is the dragon focused Precon from the set. There's meant to be like this side theme of ramp within it, but it's just not really there. There's a little bit of ramp, but not a huge amount of stuff. And I will say straight out the bat that I think this is the worst precon of the 5. And people may disagree with me there, but yeah, let me know after you finish the video about that. There is a bunch of new cards from Dragonstorm in here though. So starting out with the new cards, we've got Eshki as the main commander here. Whenever you cast a creature, put a +1 onto her. If the spell's power is 4 or greater, you get to draw a card. And then if it is 6 or greater, she's going to deal damage equal to her power to each opponent. So you obviously need kind of big, expensive dragons with this, right? Like that's the whole point, is that she just leads a huge amount of dragons. And then the other command that comes with it is Urani of the Unwritten. So he has flying and trample, and whenever they enter or attack, look at the top 8 cards of your library, put a dragon creature from them onto the battlefield, and then put the rest on the bottom. So, you know, meant to be just cheat out dragons. Huge amount of dragons. And there's a lot of dragons within this deck, which is really great. Into the other new cards, we've got Deceptive Frostkite, which is a new dragon here, flying, and then when you may have this creature enter as a copy of a creature you control with power 4 or greater, except it's a dragon in addition to its other types and has flying. So you can copy like one of your big dragons with it, which is probably what you're going to do there. Yeah, most likely you copy one of your big dragons, because the non-dragons that are in this deck are mostly kind of just mana dorks or legendaries. We've got Broodcaller Scourge, flying. Whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to a player, you may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to that damage from your hand onto the battlefield. Cheat out dragons. Cheating out dragons is really great with this, and you're going to want to ramp into some of these big ones. We've got Thundermane Dragon, has flying. You may look at the top card of your library at any time, and then you may cast creature spells with power 4 or greater from the top. And if you do that, then they gain haste until end of turn. Just a great little kind of, look at the top, cast some dragons. We've got Hammerhead Tyrant, flying. Whenever you cast a spell, return up to 1 target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to that spell's mana value to its owner's hand. So you can see all these big dragons really have kind of nice effects, right? Some really kind of nice, strong effects from them. We got Become the Avalanche, sorcery, and it's draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater, and then creatures you control get +X until end turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So great potential finisher here, draw a whole bunch of cards. You've got, say, let's say you got like 4 big creatures out there, right? You probably want to cast this with more than that, but yeah. You're going to draw 4 cards, potentially have, like 11 cards in your hand or something like that. Swing in with a huge attack and finisher. This is your big finisher in the precon, and I like that. I like it. It's a great idea. We've got Will of the Temur. Choose one. If you control your commander, you can do both. Either create a token that's a copy of target permanent you control, except it's a 4/4 dragon creature. Now keep in mind that is target permanent. You can choose an enchantment, you can choose an artifact, whatever you want to choose, which is nice. Or you could just choose a creature as well. Or target player draws cards equal to the greatest mana value among permanents you control. Most likely you're targeting yourself with that to draw cards, but you could draw 6, 7, depending on what deck you've got, like what cards you've got out at the time. You could draw a huge amount of cards with that, which is great. Ideally, obviously, you want to cast this with your commander out so you can get both of those values, but yeah, it's not too bad either way. We've got Zenith Festival. X, 2 red, exile the top X from your library. You may play them until the end of your next turn. Harmonize, and it's got X, red. Nah, I don't know. There was one from... what was it? Assassin's Creed, that had free running. It was, I'm just bringing it up for myself here. Monastery Raid. And if you hit someone with your commander, you could therefore pay X and red. So it was just kind of like a cheaper version of this. Or you could just cast it for 2 in a red and you just exile the top 2 of your library. I think that this is not as great as Monastery Raid, potentially. Maybe that's just me. They're both until the end of your next turn. Yeah, I don't know. We've got Parapet Thrasher here, flying. Whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to an opponent, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Either destroy target artifact that opponent controls, deal 4 damage to each other opponent, or exile the top card of your library. So you could get some pretty decent, like, pings into people, right? So you could get like all 3 of these. As long as you hit each person, you get all 3 of these in turn. If not, you can choose what you need. Do you need the card draw for them exile, like the impulse draw there? Do you want to get the damage out, or do they have like, their soul ring out or something? Now, if you guys are liking this content so far, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share the video around, all that kind of stuff. We're going to be doing which one of these precons you should buy very soon as the next video, probably. We've got reprints value. So we've got Hellkite Courser here. Now, before you get to the next part of the video, let me know if you can figure out the complaint that I'm going to have around this deck as to what these reprints are here. So we've got Hellkite Courser, helps us cheat out your commander. We've got the Nogi Draco Zealot here. This one here was only printed within the Game Nights box, so it's a great reprint to see here. Like a Dragonlord servant, essentially. We've got Sarkhan Soul Aflame, make your dragons cost 1 less, and then Sarkhan can copy it. We've got Atsushi, the Blazing Sky, great red dragon. Lathless. Now, keep in mind that I put an asterisk next to Lathless here because she did go down in price because she got a huge reprint in Foundations, but, a great dragon either way. We've got Selvala Stampede, big kind of, cheat more permanents out onto the battlefield card. Blasphemous Act, normal board wipe. I just put this here because, it's reprinted in a lot of precons, but it's a great kind of board wipe to see in here. We've got Dragon Tempest, notably with new art there, but, decent value card as well. Temur Ascendancy getting a reprint here as well, giving all your creatures haste, and then also card draw whenever a creature with 4 or greater power enters. Elemental Bond, more card draw from it. And these are the 4 new ones. So these are new cards that were just printed within Dragonstorm that are also going to see printing within this precon. As for the mana base, it's decent. We've got Painland. We've got a slow land down there with the Rockfall Vale. We've got some check lands. We've got a couple Dragon Focus land here with the Temple of the Dragon Queen and Haven of the Spirit Dragon. And then these are all the new arts within the precon as well. All right, some quick and dirty upgrades. Miram, boom. Do I have to say why you should put Miram into this deck? Miram is the go-to Temur Dragon commander. He is absolutely bonkers. He's going to make it so you get to copy all of your dragons that enter that are non-tokens, and they just have to enter the battlefield as well, so you can cheat them out. You still get to make a copy of them. It's great. Overall, just an absolutely bonkers commander, and just bonkers in this deck. And, a few people are saying, hey, he's going to get reprinted because of the fact that, he's just from he's not a Universes Beyond card, so they can reprint him if they wanted to. I didn't think so because of the fact that he is a named Baldur's Gate commander character, so not likely. But yeah, they didn't. We've got Savage Ventmore. Within the precon there was not all that much ramp. There was some, don't get me wrong, there was some ramp in there, but this guy's just going to add in some extra ramp for us, some extra mana. We've got the Garruk's Uprising. I want a trample in here. Why is there no trample in here? I think this could easily replace like the Elemental Bond potentially. We've got Elemental Bond in there. That's going to give us card draw. What is it? Whenever a creature with power 3 or greater enters, this will give us a card draw whenever creature 4 or greater enters, sure. But it also gives that trample, which I think just makes it a little bit better. We've got Earthquake Dragon. We've got stuff in here based off of the cost of dragons. Earthquake Dragon is absolutely bonkers, as well as the fact that you're going to be able to cheat it out very easily. Very, very easily. And potentially get it back from your graveyard too. Terror of the Peaks. Yeah, essentially like a Impact Tremors style effect on this is great. The fact it's a dragon is great. We can just cheat it out very easily, throw it at people, etc. We got Scaled Nurturer. I said not all that much ramp within here. This will just give us a little bit of that extra ramp, just, a mana dork that adds to green. Also gives us, it's potentially a little bit of life there. Not that that's huge, but additional life is great. And it's a dragon too, so yeah. We've got Astral Dragon. Oh, Astral Dragon is so freaking useful. Um, yeah, I think people really underestimate this card. Although I think it's kind of gone up in price not that long ago because people kind of realized, oh, this is actually bonkers. You could use this, you could play this, you could copy, you know, some of your big ramp, your mana rock, someone else's stuff. You could copy some really, really insane stuff with this. They also turn into dragons, which is great. But just being able to copy some insanely great cards with this, yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. Yeah. And then we got Selvala. As I said, I think they just needed a bit more ramp, right? Like we've got a lot of really great dragons in here, really expensive dragons. So this will give us an option to be able to kind of, get more ramp out there, get more mana, get more potential card draw as well, because it's likely we have the creature with the biggest power. We've got dragons. Nothing's really bigger than dragons, maybe dinos. All right, we got Monster Manual. I just wanted to get more cheating stuff out. As I said, there is hugely costly stuff in here. Cheat it out with Monster Manual. Spungler's Surprise. Again, more ways to be able to cheat things out. Or potentially, if you need to use that mill to be able to get stuff out, that's good. As well as, giving stuff indestructible and hexproof, just like a heroic intervention there is nice as well. All right, and these are some upgrades that you could potentially add from this exact set. So I am not covering these too much, but there are a lot of dragons within the expansion called Dragonstorm. But Mox Jasper is the specific dragon-based Mox. We've got Stormscale Scion. Absolutely, really, really great. Doesn't really fit into the whole, cheating stuff out so much. But once you kind of start casting stuff, then this could get really big. Even if you get one of these out, it's good because it's getting +1/+1. If we could ideally get two of them out, minimum, then that's going to be even better. Bloomvine Regent here. Now, I did say about, not as much ramp in here. This is going to add additional ramp with the fact that it's got this omen down here of like a cultivate-ish kind of style card. And then up here, we've got, the card, the life gain too. And then Draco Genesis. Just cast dragons for free is good, surprisingly. So this is my, my thoughts on the deck. I think this kind of sums it up. These are the reprinted creatures from within the deck. Now, can you notice what is going on here? This is just all red. This is just a really odd Precon, and I'm not a huge fan of it. It feels like it's mono red dragons with a tiny splash of blue and green. Adding the green in purely to get 3 ramp spells in here, and the blues for the blue. There is not much blue stuff in here. Having a look at it, we got the reflections of Littjara, which is good, I guess, and we got a little bit of removal from blue, but then I'm not a huge fan of this one. In case that was not obvious, even if they why have they got Taurine Mauler in here? We have so many dragons. Why did we need Taurine Mauler added in here? I'm just kind of a little bit disappointed in this one, just because I think that this could have been incredibly hyped, but they've kind of just, as I said, gone mono red with it. I feel like they kind of could have easily gone with a bigger mixture of dragons and it would have been better. For example, I rarely do this, but I'm going to bring up my dragon deck here. So I have my, I wanted to switch this over to here. I rarely kind of show my decks off, but this is my Miram deck here. And if we go into the creatures here, and sort by mana value instead of by that, you're going to notice a big kind of mix of things here. For example, a big mix of color. We've got some red for sure, and primarily there is a lot of red creatures, right? There is a lot of red creatures, but we've got some green splashed in here. We got a couple kind of a blue dragon down here too. It's primarily green and red for sure, but we do have a blue dragon there. I do have Lily Splash Mentor, which obviously wouldn't fit into the Precon. That's purely there because of Miram. But even, yeah, I feel like there's just a bunch of kind of stuff that they could have gone harder into the whole green and blue side of things rather than kind of relying on us sitting there in just purely kind of red. Like, even as I said, like a Garrick's Uprising would have been great to kind of see in here. I mean, I guess that would kind of replace Elemental Bond still. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys disagree with me. Who knows? Let me know. I just think that they could have, gone harder into the other colors here. Have a great day and goodbye.